Does anyone else out there feel like Black Friday is like being diluted because like all these pre-Black Friday sales, right? I mean, there's still Black Friday sales and Cyber Monday sales, but you know, like hard drives, it's really what I focus on. It's like I've had a hard drive sale now for like 2 weeks. Now Black Friday comes, same sell, same hard drives. I may or may not have bought a few. I'm just saying. Terabyte addiction is real. Plex is awesome and everything, but if you really want to squeeze the most features out of your Plex media server, you can get a Plex Pass. Now, while there are many benefits to having a Plex Pass versus a free user account, my favorite one is getting early access to new features that Plex has not yet released to the general public. So if you're like me and you want to try out those new features, check out the description down below. Down there, you can either purchase a Plex Pass for yourself or a friend, and hey, if you don't have a free account, use my link as well. It helps me out. So check out the description down below to get your Plex Pass today. What's up, YouTube? Jason here with Jason Bytes Back, episode number 31. That's Tres Uno, or whatever it is in Spanish that's actually 31 and not just 3 and 1. Hey Siri, how do you say 31 in Spanish?
In Spanish, 31 is 31.
31.
31. 31.
31.
31. 31.
31.
31.
31.
31.
Okay, I give up. So, Black Friday. I ended up buying actually a new computer's worth of hardware because I'm actually planning a video that is literally just a build guide for somebody, because I have this idea that I want to use Ryzen into like a little miniature NAS server that has, 8 hot swappable bays and runs Ryzen. I'm going to use the 3700, but I also want it powered by a P2000 because, you need a GPU for Ryzen anyway. So I bought a full system that I'm going to make a build guide sometime in December, because it should be here anywhere between Tuesday to Friday of next week, and I am like really excited to make this video because I've thought about the server for a while. I just kind of pushed off buying some of it, and some of the stuff was on sale for Black Friday, but the other stuff was just kind of like, I'm gonna buy it anyways, so the fact that they didn't put it on sale doesn't really matter. I really wanna build this server. So look out for that. I think it's like the size of this laptop on one side, and just, it's like this big. I don't know, it's a Silverstone case. If you guys follow me on Twitter, I actually posted like a shopping list for Black Friday 2019. A lot of the stuff in that shopping list, aside from the Samsung SSDs, I actually ended up buying, including a camera from Amcrest, the turret camera, the last camera I reviewed actually, which has turned out to be my favorite camera with the lens, the quality, and just how easy Amcrest cameras are as a whole. So I ended up buying 2 of those, and Amcrest actually, this is not an ad, I swear, but they sent me over like a 25% discount or a 20% discount code to use with Amazon. So I used that code. I bought a couple of those cameras because they're super cheap and I like them. And I may or may not have also bought a new GPU for Loki because I am taking the P2000 out of Loki, and because Ryzen, you still need a GPU. I bought a new GPU, and it's the Quadro RTX 4000. So, that's a thing. And I know I haven't actually done a reveal video for Loki, even though you probably know most of it, but I'm working on the hard drive situation. Patreon peeps, if you watched my last video, what I'm stuck on right now. But I'm also working on that. Should be out in sometime early December. Either way, so episode number 31, let's jump right into the questions after I take a moment to thank all of my Patreon subscribers. Of course, you guys are awesome, and you donate to me all every month, and I have no idea why you do that, but your names will be at the end of this video, so thank you for sponsoring my channel. You guys are awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And the first question I'm going to address today is actually, now it's a thing. This is, I think, the 3rd month, right? Asking me my favorite cereal between 2 different ones. So Marcus, he's coming in with the Fruity Pebbles or Trix question. I gotta be honest with you, Marcus. I don't remember the last time I ate Trix. I really don't. I still remember the taste of Fruity Pebbles, but Trix, I just don't remember at all. So I'm gonna have to go with Fruity Pebbles is still my favorite here. Besides, Trix are for kids. I should like Trix because I am an inner child. Next question is from Sean. Please clarify, how does Unraid offer more bang for the buck than FreeNAS? Which is a great question if you don't understand how Unraid works and how you can use, 28 data drives and only have 2 parity drives for those 28 drives. Basically, you can have a total of 30 drives, which I have in Loki, and with those total of 30 drives, only 2 of them are being used for parity. So where some people might look at Unraid and say it's a cost, I forgot what it is. What is 130, 150 bucks to actually purchase the operating system? And you look at something like FreeNAS, and FreeNAS is free. So you're like, why would I spend money on something when I can get something for free? I look at it like if you have, let's say, I don't know, 6, 8, 10 drives or whatever, and you start a ZFS file system, maybe ZFS2, you already have 2 parity drives. And then let's say you get, I don't know, 6 workable drives worth of data. So if you want to add another pool, you're going to need 2 additional parity drives. So now you're up to like 4 drives. And then if you want another pool, you're going to need another 1 or 2 parity drives. So every little pool that you have is going to need another parity drive. I mean, I know they have a 3 parity option in FreeNAS, but what it really comes down to is that depending on your drive setup, the $150 you're going to spend on Unraid is going to be pennies compared to what you would spend for the extra drive protection just buying parity drives for your ZFS arrays. I mean, if you have to buy one more, let's say 12 terabyte drive just to add an additional parity to support all of your hard drives, you've already spent more money than what Unraid would cost you. And with Unraid, you can mix and match different hard drive sizes. You can add to the pool whenever you want to. And for that matter, if one goes down, you could technically just remove it from the pool and you don't lose your entire array. So if you can't afford to swap out that drive, or maybe you just don't want to, you can just emulate that data, get all your stuff off of it, and then delete that drive completely. In ZFS, as far as I know, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that's just not a possibility. If you need to resilver it, you just got to replace the drive. It's got to be the exact same drive. You can't upgrade. Like I just recently upgraded to 12 terabytes. Yes, I had to buy 2 new 12 terabyte drives and use them as my parity, but the old 10s went directly to my data pool. And it does take time to make that switch, but it is definitely saving me money, being able to use whatever drives I want to, whenever I want to. Next question is from Birius. Birius. Hey Jason, I'm trying to figure out how to make my server more robust, reliable, and Netflix fast. Any suggestions or vids planned? Actually, I am going to make a Ryzen 3700 mini NAS build that I've already talked about, but that is kind of a loaded question. I'm going to be honest with you, B. It's kind of loaded. I mean, the first thing I'm going to start off with was, what do you have right now? How much money do you want to throw into it? And what's your end game here? Are you just like one user on your home network? Or are you looking for transcoded, over the internet? I mean, there's so many questions here, but I'm going to have to go to my roots when it comes to computers, like, right? This basics right now. Are you running SSDs on all your Plex data? Not your Plex media information, but I'm saying just your Plex metadata, like where your posters and your database is stored. If you're not running an SSD right now, it's going to seem slow. If you put all that on an SSD, that's going to significantly boost your overall speed. And since we're talking about SSDs, where is your transcoding folder? Are you sending that to a hard drive, or are you sending that to an SSD? Have you thought about directly transcoding to your RAM? How much RAM do you have? Like I said, it's kind of a loaded question on how to make, a Netflix fast server, but it really just kind of depends on how much money you want to throw at it and what sacrifices you're willing to make. However, something that I do want to touch base on with Netflix is that I really doubt that they're transcoding all of their media files, at least not on the fly. Instead, they're pre-transcoding or preparing these video files to meet whatever needs somebody might need, which if you think about it on their sense, like, do you want to pay for the raw horsepower to transcode all your files, especially when you have millions of users, or do you just want to save a little bit lesser quality of a file right next to the already existing file? So when people switch to it, all they do is just pick up where they left off. They're direct, playing that video file, and there's no actual CPU crunching going on in the background for that video. And on the scale of Netflix, it makes sense. They can get more users out of a single server. But on the scale of like home users, even with like 10 people streaming at one time, it might just be best just to get a super powerful GPU. I mean, something like a P2000 would be more than enough. Next question is the place for me. The Justinist 1. Any plans on doing another New Year's live stream? I missed the last one as I was binge watching and binge drinking a show with my roommates. I will join you in your shots for donations, so you won't have to do it alone. Aw. Thanks. But yes, as it sits, I am planning on doing a live stream. So I'm pretty sure I have the next day off. If not, I won't be at work. So I do plan on being here for the New Year's live stream, and my liver or kidney or whatever handles the alcohol aftermath is already hating me. So, however, I'm going to change it this year. Last year was dumb, okay? I solely underestimated the power of the internet or the will of the internet. And I set $5 shots. That was dumb. That was dumb Jason coming in. Like who does $5 shots? Okay. That was dumb. I was basically chugging vodka, and I want to be able to make it through all of my questions this year or next year, whatever. So I haven't landed on a number yet, but I'm going to raise the bar, and it's got to be a single donation. That way, hopefully by the time I'm done with that live stream, I'm like no more than like 3, 4, maybe 5 shots, because I do not want to hit what I hit last year. I don't know, whatever usage, the GPU is really taking it on. So that's 2 shots I got to take. Props to anybody who actually saw that live stream. That was a little rough for me to go back and rewatch, and I had to edit it and cut it off and re-upload it. So yeah, moving on from that embarrassment. Next question is from Altered Serenity. Holy shit, haha, FY, there should be no force required at all when sliding server in and out with Rails. You're absolutely correct, Altered, and I don't know if I've actually talked about it too much on a video yet. I plan on doing it in my Ultimate Loki reveal video, but I ruined my first set of Rails for Loki, and I had to buy a new set from eBay. I racked it wrong, it came bent, I don't know, excuses. Either way, I messed it up and I had to replace it. But the second time around, it did slide in a lot easier and required minimal thrusting. I had to really focus to say that. Minimal thrusting. It required minimal thrusting to achieve climb. Next question is from Adrian. Jason, you say nothing about the amount of air Noctua fans can move. Sure, they are quieter, but do they still provide the same amount of cooling? Adrian, you're 100% correct. No, they do not provide the same amount of cooling. No, I did not mention the amount of air being pushed. And I was basically solely doing my whole fan replacement on Loki the same way I did with Zeus, and just kind of hopes that my temperatures aren't going to be out of control. But during a rebuild, most of my drives right now with the Noctua fans, even though they're 1,000 RPM slower than the other ones, during my rebuild, most of my drives are hitting like 35 to 37 C max, and when they're idling, they're much lower. So you're right, it is something to focus on if you are, worried or having issues with, cooling in your server. But for me, swapping out with Noctua fans has drastically reduced my noise, both in Loki and Zeus, and on both servers so far, I haven't had any issues. Granted, right now I'm running a Ryzen 3900X. Once they come out with the 3990, I may or may not try to get that, which is absolutely ridiculous, but that is going to be a lot of cores and probably a little bit of heat to push out, and we'll see how that works out for me in the long run. I still have my old fans and I can still plug them in if I need to, but for right now, I'm just kind of hoping for the best and it's working out for me. I'm just gonna go with that. Next question is from Logiker. Hey Jason, I really enjoy the comment. Sub 15K subscriber. Hey, what's up, man? Thank you. Been around for a while. And would like to add some bucks to the CS 2020 fund. Okay, I already touched base on this, but I don't want to sign up for Patreon. Message me for details, okay? Okay, so I looked into when the whole Patreon thing was going on as far as starting another thing, but I really, I appreciate Patrons, and I definitely want to say thank you and appreciate and make my video for them. And I definitely like having Patreon subscribers, but I don't want to push anybody into it or just desperately ask people for stuff. So, if you don't want to use Patreon, that's more than okay with me. I'm just happy that you're here and you're watching my stuff and you've been around for a while. So that's awesome to me, and I just appreciate what you do already. Now, if you want to tune in for the live stream on New Year's and throw some shot money at me, hey, that's good too. I've also looked at the option. I think there's this thing with YouTube where you can have a subscription, and I don't really know all the benefits with YouTube, but again, it's just kind of one of those things. It's I'm not desperately looking for every dollar I can possibly get, even though I do throw out some affiliate links quite a bit. So I don't want to pressure people into Patreon or anything else really. So I might look at that in the future, but I think for now it's just going to be Patreon and the live stream every year, at the end of every year, beginning of every year, however you want to look at it. And if you want to throw a shot my way, then, thank you in advance. And hopefully I'm not too many shots in that I can't thank you if you throw that New Year's. God, this is gonna be a painful year. I can already feel it. Last year was just such a train wreck. I mean, it was bad. Next question is from Rex. Oh, this is a long one. Jason, enjoy your content, especially the sketchy impersonating popular tech tubers. That was a while back. Anyway, I'm looking for a low power solution for a Plex server. Currently have 2 Plex servers running. One is on Unraid, yada, 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 a bunch of stuff, lots of text, and Cliff Notes. He wants a low power option. Well, this kind of sort of is a loaded question, but not 100%. And you're going to laugh at me, and I know a few people are going to judge me here, but honestly, if you're looking for just a low energy solution that still has some capability, maybe look at something like a Synology. I mean, the last Synology that I reviewed was able to handle like, what, 8 or 9 transcodes at the same time? I mean, the Synology NAS that I looked at wasn't gonna crunch through 4K transcodes very quickly anytime soon, but as just like a basic low power, always on network attached solution, something like one of the newer models Synologies probably cost a little bit of money, Synology or QNAP or whatever brand or flavor you prefer. But those little low power devices may not pack a lot of raw power, but they do have hardware accelerated transcoding, which means they can do a lot more than what they used to be able to do. And to be completely upfront, when I was testing the Synology, I gave you the numbers, been able to do like 8 or 9. And yes, technically it can do 8 or 9 or whatever my number was. But when you get pushing up to like 6, 7, streams, transcoded streams all at the same time, it does get kind of sluggish. But if you still want a decently fast server that's always on all the time, it's not going to use a lot of power, and you're only going to be using maybe 2 or 3 streams at the same time, a Synology is probably going to be perfect for you. So just like you asked at the ending, would a NAS work with Plex and your DVR? I think that it should be just fine. I mean, DVR is not going to be running all the time. That's realistically only going to take up 1 or 2 streams. You're still going to have plenty of headroom to do the rest of your stuff. So I think at bare minimum, buy it off of Amazon. Try it out. Deploy it. See if you like it. Get it up and running. Maybe take you, a couple hours to get it up and running. If you don't like it, Amazon has a great return policy. But I think that for what you need, you actually might be able to get away with a Synology NAS pretty easily. And next question is from Anna Gulu. Noob question, but isn't it better to not transcode at all? When I play a stream and its quality is shown as original, does that mean it's not transcoding? Yes, that means it's not transcoding. And yes, that is the best thing to do. If you cannot transcode your video and direct play, that's less strain on your server, that's a more responsive server, and that's the best quality video that you could watch, at least for what you have on your server. But when I test things like my 39 and 3700X with the P2000, I'm testing how many transcodes it can do. That is solely for the focus of like what people can achieve out of their hardware if they're going to be doing things like, transcoding or sharing with their friends or family or whatever. Maybe they want to go out and they want to watch it on their iPhone in the middle of the airport. I mean, limitation of throughput is definitely a thing. I mean, a lot of home internet, they don't have that much upload, so you can't afford to direct stream a 20 megabit per second video file for more than like 1 or 2 people. At the end of the day though, everybody has their own unique needs, but I basically just want to test out what it can do when it's transcoding, even though that's not the best option. Next question and/or comment is from Craig. He said, new Discord link, please. That is bytemybits.tech/Discord with a capital D. Next question is from Fat Joe. He said, are these good? He's asking about these shucked hard drives that I always do. Or when buy a HDD, there's always a chance it's going to take a poop pretty quick. Well, Joe, anytime you buy anything, there's a chance that it's going to have an issue. The percentage there is a lot lower than, let's say, something, I'm not going to mention any Seagate names, right? But it's going to be a lot lower than other brands like Seagate. And, knock on wood, but I have 30 drives in my server right now. Probably 22 of them are shucked drives. 23 of them are shucked drives. And I have yet to have a failed shucked drive. Again, knock on wood, I feel like this is gonna backfire on me now that I'm talking about it. It's gonna like catch on fire, but I haven't had a failed shucked drive yet, and I've been running them for a long time. So far so good for me. We'll see when the warranty wears out. I don't know. It's worked for me. Think about it this way though. I mean, if you're buying like regular red drives, for example, and you're spending $250, $300 for the same drive you can get for $180, even if 1 or 2 goes bad, if you have 30 drives, like how much money did you save just buying these shucked drives? And maybe it failed because it was shucked. I don't know. They're just so cheap, and for me, they haven't failed yet. So until that whole thing backfires on me, I'm going to continue to support shucking. all around. Next question is from Drew. Why a P2000 and not a 10X or a 20X? That really comes down to lazy or ease of use. Basically, when you buy something like a P2000 or P4000, RTX 4000, whatever, in the Quadro line, they automatically are unlocked for unlimited streams for your hardware accelerated transcoding. Whereas with the 10X or the 20X, those are locked to only 2 streams. And yes, you can technically use some driver hacks and you can get the streams unlocked, because all it is driver hacks. It's just a thing NVIDIA does just to separate a little bit more between their Quadro line and their consumer line. You can technically do that depending on what operating system, like let's say Unraid, you're running. You can run into some difficulties or just some annoyances when getting that to work and getting it to work reliably through an update. Again, it's just really one of those things like, yeah, you can get, better bang for your buck with, a consumer grade card using it for the transcoding, but, how much are you gonna have to mess around with it? And I think that is all the questions for today. So again, thank you all to my Patreon subscribers. Your names are going to be at the end of this video. You guys are awesome. If anyone wants to have the best chance possible of your question being answered in next month's Jason's Bytes Back video, make sure to post in the comments down below in this video. This is where I always check first. So put them in the comments down below. Thank you for watching. Everybody like and subscribe and have yourself a great day. Jason Bytes Back number 31. Done. While those names are scrolling, guess who's about to shuck a video? Shuck a hard drive. I'm gonna shuck a video. Step 1, open the box. Step 2, remove the external enclosure from said box. Step 3, put the trash back in the box. Step 4, Step 4, take a knife and stab. Step 4, take a knife and stab said enclosure. Make sure, this is key here, you have to angle the knife towards you. So like in a stabbing motion. Like imagine like those old like Chinese movies, right? Where they show like the Chinese guy, in war and like he loses and dishonors himself and then he like uses a knife against himself. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So you just stick it in the hole and then you just pull, like thrust towards your body, right? Stick it in, twist it, just like so. Kind of pull back a little bit. Got to flip it over, right? Again, aim towards your body in a stabbing-like motion. Line it up in the crack. Line it up better in the crack. There you go. Thrust it towards yourself. Twist. There we go. Perfect. Step whatever the fuck we're on right now, I don't know, but widen it. You got to gauge it a little bit and then pull it out. There you go, just like that. Now you have a hard drive. Make sure not to drop it, okay? We're not Linus, okay? We're not animals. Yes! This is an MAZ. The other ones were like MFZ, I think. Yeah, so this isn't an SMR. Not that it matters, because all my other ones are SMR. I got like 5, 6, 7 of them. So yeah, pull it out of the thing. Best to have a screwdriver with you. I'll be right back. This is actually like a little tiny flathead that works on everything in here. So you just want to remove the screw holding in the USB to SATA connector here. So it's usually 1 or 2 screws, just like that. You got to rip this little piece of plastic thing. I don't know what this thing is for. Like what does that do? Is that a stabilizer? I don't know what that thing is for. Then the reason why I got this little miniature flathead, because this has like a Torx bit on it. So you could either A, whip out your Torx bits, or B, use a small enough flathead and it works on the Torx bit, just like that. See that? Boom, just like that. Simple as can be. Step whatever, unscrew the Torx screws. And just like that, we have a shucked drive. 12 terabytes of raw storage, primed and ready for Loki. Have you guys seen that old movie, that plant, you know, that eats people and constantly says, "Feed me, feed me"? That's Loki. I don't know what that plant's name is. Fred or something. Feed me.